I put a 3 amp, let me see this here. I put a 3 amp fuse in our system. The fuse goes right here. And I put a 3 amp fuse in there, which means in terms of the gate or the size of the voltage, the amount of voltage that the system is pulling through is very low. And he has been getting about a 20% gas mileage increase using a canister exactly like this with a 3 amp draw. And so the people that say that you cannot get more energy out than you're putting in are absolutely wrong.
A lot of the critics have said, well, it takes more energy to produce the hydrogen than the energy that's created by the hydrogen. But we're showing that's not the case.
That is not the case. And we're seeing again and again that we're actually getting those kinds of returns. I very seldom have a system that has higher than a 10 amp fuse in the system. So that tells us that energy on the alternator of your car is greatly, it's there already. Mm-hmm. It's already being produced with the car, and they're sufficient to get a powerful energy source in the hydrogen back out of the system. And hydrogen is such a strong, that hydrogen and oxygen gas that is created is such a powerful source of energy. And it's like you said, it is free. It's an amazing, it's like a gift from God, really. And the fact that we haven't used it to this point is amazing. Now, there was another thing that you brought up, and I kind of wanted to talk about it for a few minutes, and this is kind of going to go into the area of maybe a little bit more philosophical. But I think everyone's aware, if you're not, you've got your hole in the ground or something, of how difficult of an economic situation that the United States is in, and as a result, the world really. And regardless of the reasons why we're in that state, I don't think most of us adults believe that one man, whether his name's John McCain or Barack Obama, are going to get us out of the trouble that we're in economically. Economically, we're going to do that as a people. We're going to do that as a community. We're going to work together. It's going to be the blood, sweat, and tears of just regular mainstream American people that are going to pull us out of this thing. And the bailout is an example of that. It was the taxpayers that got tapped on the shoulder. And it's always been regular American people that have come up with the solutions to the big problems. It's the people that are out there in the nitty-gritty doing the work. Now, recently I was reading a book, and I'm sorry to say I don't remember the author. Maybe some of you have read the book as well, called The Fourth Turning. It's a very popular book. It was on the New York Times bestseller. It came out, I think, in 1996. I don't know. Are you familiar with the book?
I am. I can't think of the author, though.
Two guys. One of them just passed away recently. But they're really terrific book. And they just wrote another one about the millennial generation. But in the book, they were talking about the archetypical, the archetypes of the generations. And so, as they described it, you would have your 4 basic generations that occur again and again in a cycle throughout history. And for example, the GI generation are the heroes. And then the generation of Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy, John McCain, they're the silent generation, that they call them. They're the artist. And then the generation of the baby boomers are the prophets. They call them the prophet generation. And then my generation, the Gen Xers, are called the nomads. Those 4 archetypical generations come up again. So the generation of Riker here, the millennial generation, are the heroes again. So the GI generation is repeating again in the heroes. And I was reading this book, and I thought, man, a lot of this book really makes sense. I highly recommend it. It's very interesting. And one of the things that they talked about, and because my son and daughter are millennial kids, that generation became very interesting to me. As I wanted to know as much as I could about the heroes, because that's the one that's coming up. And these are young people that are extremely interested in working together as a community, as a team. They love the internet chat groups and
the MySpace,
MySpace,
Facebook.
all this stuff